All right. Welcome to the Commander's Signal, the audio extension of the HTTRC Facebook page, your home of the Redskins past, the Commander's future. And joining me, as always, the media mogul of Pyledriver Media Group, the, the co-founder of the page and podcast, and the man that brings you all the amazing graphics, our good friend Alex. What's up, man?
Happy to be here, Ken. Um, it's a little odd. I got so used to those weeks of us having football that I've had to kind of figure out the rest of my life ever since. But we're getting there.
I had so much other stuff to do. It's been nice almost, but it's okay.
Yes, yes. So today it looks like we're doing the HTTRC Super Bowl prop challenge. So this will be a
Yeah.
fun little episode. And you want to do an introduction here? By all means.
Yeah, I compiled 20 fun props we could do, 22 technically. We'll get to those later. We're gonna do all that fun stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit about the championship game somewhat. And I guess we can start off. I don't think there's really any Commanders news we can talk of. I know we're a Commanders show, but there ain't really much to say, is there?
We got some news regarding our general manager trying to make a shot in the dark to interview the Chiefs OC, but
Yeah,
I think that you're just gonna try to do that regardless what team you are. I mean, he's the best coordinator in football right now. I mean, wouldn't hurt to try to interview him, but we all know that's kind of the extent of where that's going. So um,
the only other thing we had earlier, as I showed you, was that according to what Glazer, you said we'll probably see a sale by the end of March or something like that. They're trying to get it
yeah.
done before the voting groups and all that stuff. So if you're wondering out there about the team sale, it's definitely still going to happen, and I guess somewhere around March is probably when we'll see that happen.
March is good timing for that too, because that means that the ownership should get a bit of time to evaluate, if they want to keep the general manager and things around. So who knows? We could see more changes following then, but that's some positive news on the horizon for our team.
Indeed, for sure. So from there, we got the championship games, as we said, happened. We can just move on. Now we're just all football fans watching football if you're still watching. So we can talk about teams and games we ordinarily probably wouldn't talk about, which is kind of fun. Uh so my Buffalo Bills conspiracy theory just completely got shot out the water. The Bills didn't even make it, which I'm so disappointed. I'm sure the rest of you are as well. So no more Buffalo conspiracy, no more DeMar heading everybody out of the tunnel like I wanted. Instead, we get a football game. Yawn. Uh, Now I did say if you, I wish I could be a great editor and drop right here where I said in my insane rant that if that didn't happen and if a football game did break out, we would end up with the Chiefs and Eagles. I did say that. Go back. So
You
here we
did,
are.
you did. I can confirm that
Here
was
we
said.
are. Uh, I had picked the Eagles over the Niners because I felt like there was no way the Niners were going to win with their third quarterback this deep in the playoffs. They ended up on their fourth and almost fifth. But even with their third, that wasn't going to happen. I felt, man. To me, well, obviously, there never was a game if you watched it. You didn't get to see much of it, huh?
No, no. I was that foolishly optimistic person that was like Niners all the way, just because I am sick of hearing about the Eagles and their fan base just relentlessly getting to me on Facebook. But can't always, predict them right. Sometimes the momentum kind of stops, and the headway that the train was making, ends when things get derailed. And I got to give props to the 49ers. They had a good season, but you could tell they it was pretty much over. The moment Purdy had issues throwing that ball, that was pretty much the game. And looking
See what you
back,
did there. It was pretty
looking,
much the game.
oh yeah, yeah, it was too. And it was interesting the amount of memes that came from this game too, especially with Garoppolo smiling on the sideline.
Oh yeah, I
They're all
saw that.
like that moment when the company's failing, but you're in your last week, and it's like, no, yep, that's about right.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they tried to get Brad after Purdy went out. They put poor Johnson in there. He just was not. He was terrified, and
Oh
then
no.
things went wrong, and he just felt so bad. And then he got hurt. Or the Eagles were out there quarterback killing, man, and They were hunting, and it hurt him too. And then he had to shoot
Yeah.
Purdy up and get him back out there, but he literally could not throw the ball. They ran every
Yup.
single play, and like then ran the clock out with all three timeouts. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Me too there. And again, I hate the Eagles, but in this almost makes me feel sick inside. I have to give credit to their defense. They are a wrecking ball, and I know the Chiefs are really good, and we'll get to who I'm picking obviously in that game later on. But that defense is pretty dominant, and we'll have to see how they hold up next week. Uh, so yeah, it was an interesting game on the NFC side in terms of the fact that it wasn't really much of a game. But the AFC,
AFC.
that was all over the place. That was an adventure. I got to see a little bit of more of this game, and it was interesting. So if you want to start with the beginning
Oh,
there,
good.
by all means, we can.
No, it was
Oh yeah,
cool. Yeah, we had the Chiefs, the Bengals, of course. I had picked the Chiefs because I didn't think that the Bengals with Burrow would beat Andy Reid 4 times. I just didn't see that happening. And that's how it happened. I don't, may not have been so much of Andy Reid thing, but I just didn't see that. Andy's not going to let anyone beat him that many times. Not this little
oh
kid.
no,
No way.
oh no,
They came in there super cocky and talking a lot of crap, and their offensive line was not there. Burrow got rocked the whole first half.
yeah,
And man, it's one of those games. Here we are again with the ref controversies or whatnot. I hate blaming refs. You kind of can't when you lost the whole first half of a game. I don't think they would have won either way. But boy, there was some awful shit in there. What can you say?
I I honestly even down to like the final sequence of events there. The Bengals, I don't think we're ever going to win this game, but they fought hard just to even keep it close there. That final drive where that defense just destroyed Burrow again, kind of just spoke for how the whole day went really there. And one thing I gotta say is we've seen games time and time again where it's about to end the game and they go to punt. You always punt out of bounds. You do not want to let that returner get any momentum. Bengals just drive it straight down the field with a punt. Returner gets a nice little thing going there. And yes, there was that final play with their I think defensive end Osai there who made a late hit, but you
Yeah,
can't blame the game on him. I think it was
no.
that punt return that honestly set a lot up. Um, Got to give props though. I mean, that Bengals team did play hard. Um, yeah, you can't blame the loss of one guy. Football is more than a one-person game, obviously, and there was many plays in that game where the Bengals could have either done things better or just failed to capitalize. I think we said it too, even with our old, like Commanders games this season, where a lot of the times we would face close calls or things would go like, not our way. But if you score 40 points, like you would never have to worry about that to begin with. So um, tough sledding for that Cincy side, but you can't be ashamed of your team either. They are honestly a few O-line upgrades at most away from like getting back there. And I think will be a guy in the future that does get one of those Super Bowl wins. It's just
Oh
not
yeah,
this year,
I
obviously.
think he will. I think he will, man. Yeah. And again, like I hate seeing fans argue about refs, but they're not even do it right. Like the late hit's not what you want to argue. If you're gonna argue anything, I would
Right.
argue the 3 times they gave him a fourth down back, converted one to first down for him. And then there was the other one I thought was awful was where they called intentional grounding on Burrow when his receiver's the one that picked up the ball and handed it to the ref. He was so close to it, and they said there was no receiver near it. And then the
Yeah.
next series over, Mahomes does the same exact thing and no call. I mean, come on, man. That's what you argue. You
I'm
don't
pretty
argue shit that did happen.
right. And I think the worst part about that too is that officiating crew that did that game was the same one that did our one Commanders game where there was just many blown calls on both sides. So it's kind of miraculous that that crew even got the
that
chance to
that dude
do
is
that game.
awful.
Um, Thankfully, after that postseason performance, I can only imagine that, you know, he doesn't get many more chances to have that kind of situation of like
Oh
with a
God.
game like that. You would hope at least, but um, interesting thing to note too is just the culture difference between the refs in sports here in the major sports. The NBA the other day had a situation where there's major blown calls, and then they went and actually apologized later.
Well,
The
the NFL
NFL
does
would
that
pretty
too
much just tell
sometimes.
you to get wrecked, but yeah,
They do
yeah,
the apology thing
it's
sometimes.
interesting.
I think refs
Um,
should be fined personally.
yeah, like I understand there's a human element to it, but there's like a degree to which like the chance of it just being an error and then like you being bad at your job kind of takes over. But um yeah, you got to say though, even to ref a game, it's hard to get people to even want to do that. I mean, especially with all the implications and the fact that people will literally like wish some of the worst things on you for just
Yeah,
doing your job. But
is a thing.
that's oh yeah, it's a whole thing altogether and kind of interesting. But it does set up for a good Super Bowl there. I mean, we've got two teams that pretty much ran their conferences for like the entire year and somehow still managed to get through this postseason, escape a lot of like tough situations coming from like even down at points and um yeah, it sets up some fun stuff about the props. And if you want to start from there, we can keep going.
I will. I want to go back 1 minute because I had a note here I wanted to squeeze in that I didn't have on my original sheet for the 49ers game. We had a Trent Williams sighting for all y'all that remember him being with us. If you
Yes.
saw the brawl, he picks up
Oh,
this poor little guy who's probably way bigger than me and just throws him down like a sack of potatoes, man, and
that
that's it.
right.
Oof,
That was
there's
the
already a
one.
scuffle. It was hilarious.
He was always a really good lineman for us here in Washington too. But I always knew he had that mean streak. So the moment I saw someone even try to mess, I was like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Oh no. Oh
I
no.
saw that and I'm like, oh, I miss Trent so much.
Right. True force on the line for real. I
That was hilarious. He picks that poor little guy up and just I was like, oh that was amazing.
get off me.
Dude. And then Donkey Kong Sue comes in there throwing people. It was amazing. Oh my god.
Oh.
Incredible. That was fun. That was amazing.
I
Anyway.
gotta. These games have been entertaining in that regard too. I mean, like, there's been a lot of good football, but there's also been that nice amount of like just competitiveness where people are blowing off steam and makes for good TV. Got to give them that.
Oh yeah. So here we are. Our Super Bowl is here. We got the Chiefs and the Eagles, like I said, there would be. Man, Mahomes to me is like the most frustrating good quarterback I've ever seen. How many times is he going to get away with like almost getting hit, just throwing the ball, however, and it never bites him? Somebody just always comes up and miraculously catches it, and it's never a problem. How many times is he going to do that? I'm like,
I think that there's only so much luck. I mean, like, it reminds
God,
me of Brett Favre in terms of just gunslinging, where like he'll make
yeah,
throws he has no business making,
but
but
it
you're
never
like,
goes wrong.
right? What? And it's like a matter of like, when is it going to? And I can't tell if it's just the good coaching and like offensive schemes that kind of
It
like
has to
allow
be,
it.
and that's what I was going to say. That has to be an Andy Reid thing. It speaks so
Yeah.
much to the team around him that is always there. Like they're always their routes have to be so ridiculously tight to where even if something goes horribly wrong, it's still perfect.
Right.
That's got to be an Andy Reid thing.
My favorite thing
Amazing.
too is like they could be like down 7 to 10 points in the game. They'll be on a third down. They'll run a screen pass to like like backup running back, still get a first down just because of like sheer will and like um that offense. I sometimes like they're really good, but I don't think they get enough credit sometimes. Like, just for how well run they are. It's like a well-oiled machine.
For sure. So my breakdown is we got Mahomes blind throwing balls sideways versus a quarterback that thinks he's a running back. Yuck. All right.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's like watching, yeah, it's like a Brett Favre Michael Vick matchup to me almost.
Oh,
Like old school
awful,
just yeah.
awful, awful. But that's what we get.
Oh,
So
All right.
we're
So
off.
yeah.
All right. We got what I'm calling the HTT. Oh fuck. Yeah, RC. Goddamn, I can't do shit tonight. Coffee's
Oh,
too much for me also. HTTRC Super Prop Challenge. You want to follow along? You can do that. This is probably, we didn't speak about this before, and I
mhm.
should have. This will probably be our last show until probably draft time. I don't know if you want to do one before draft. I'm definitely going to do one after draft and talk about who we pick up. If you want to do one
Yeah.
before, it's fine. I don't care, but definitely after. We'll
I
see.
think I think we'll do after because
Yeah, that's what
before
I'm
tends
thinking.
like everyone else, that's when
Yeah.
they tend to
What
do
what are
all
you
their
gonna
scouting
what are you
things.
gonna say? Yeah.
What
So
I'm thinking of doing is we'll do the after draft show.
I like it.
And then on the HTTRC page the night of the draft, I can try to go live and just do some coverage there too. That'd
Might be
be a
fun.
nice
Might be
little
fun.
fun thing. Oh yeah.
Cool, we could do that.
And after the show too, we'll like when we actually post this, I'll actually post the props and bets too, so they can all play along with us and see how we do.
Absolutely can. But if the point to all that is if you want to find out the results of what happens here, you're gonna have to come on over to the page, to the HTTRC Facebook page, and that's where you'll find the results, and that's where you'll see which one of us won, because it's me and Alex now. This is the
Yeah.
Super Bowl for real. Nobody cares
Yes.
about the Chiefs and Eagles. It's all about me versus Alex. Will
The
Alex
real.
pile driver me through a table? We'll find out. All right, prop number one for everyone. We're got to start off at the beginning. Here we are. It's time. You've sat down with the beer and stuff, and the national anthem's going to happen. So we got Chris Stapleton, country music artist. Chris Stapleton. I'm going to set the over under technically at 1 minute 59 and a half seconds. That way, 2 minutes is over or 1:59 is under. So
It's a
what
little
you got?
risky. I went with the over. I actually kind of researched this thing more than like any of the football stuff, not gonna
Very
lie.
good. That's good.
So I wanted to see because like a lot of his songs tend to be slower pace or kind of go for a longer amount of time. So I feel like naturally if that's his singing style, the anthem's gonna be over 2 minutes.
Okay.
I just don't know by how much. So I picked the over for that one. I think he's in no rush to get through that. He wants his spotlight. He's gonna take his sweet time.
Well, here's my theory on that. I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm going under because he's a country guy who's gonna respect the national anthem, and he's not gonna do no fancy singing, or he's not gonna do the R&B thing where they he's not doing all
Yeah.
that. I actually set my timer and in my head imagine what an R&B singer would do, and it still was hard to get to 2 minutes. So I feel like he's gonna go under.
See, that one for me too could be
Dramatic pauses would be the only thing that pushes him over.
yeah. And and that could be a thing where maybe because I know I'm a Canadian here, I'm used to our anthem, so I know that like we do like English and French a lot of the times, but
Yeah.
we have a, like where everyone just draws it out for as long as possible. So that kind of just may influence my
That's
thinking,
good.
but
That's good. That's
yeah,
good. I think he's one of those country guys like, oh, I respect the anthem. I think he's gonna try to get in and get out and be respectful to it or something. I don't
yeah, he might not mess
know.
around at all there.
Just kind of get in there and get out of there. So let's see. But,
Yeah.
there's no history of him. He's because usually with these people you can go back to races or baseball games and see what they did, but he's never done it anywhere that we have a video of. So
Yeah.
we're on our own. We'll see. We'll find out. All right, it's coin flip time. I'm gonna take the opposite of whatever you take. So heads or tails.
I picked tails because I've always picked tails in everything I ever do. So just went with what I know and trust my gut.
All right. As they always say, tails never fails.
Yes.
I actually wrote that one backwards. I'll wipe that out later. All right. Opening kick, a touchback, yes or no?
Yes. Just looking at the statistics this year of kickoffs, that it's almost improbable that it doesn't go for a touchback, and like unless someone decides to run it from deep in the end zone. But I think in a game that's this important, you don't clown around in that moment.
All right. This is great. I'm going the complete opposite of that. And I'm thinking whoever takes it's going to be gunning, ready to go, fired up. They're catching, they're running with that thing, especially if it's the Eagles. The Eagles will be the
Oh, that
type of
could be a
dudes to
fun one.
run.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going with no on that. No touchback. They're running it, man. All right, we're doing great. We're disagreeing the whole time. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's the way it should
One
be.
of us is gonna be great. One of us is gonna do awful, or somewhere in the
Oh,
middle. First team to score: Chiefs or Eagles?
I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay.
They won't be the last team to score, but they'll be the first.
There you go. I said Eagles as well because again, man, they have so many scoring options, and that's one place where the Chiefs are going to struggle in this game. A lot of their weapons are hurt. They're going to be depending a
Yeah.
lot on Kelsey and so forth. So the Eagles got dudes that score everywhere, including Hurts, including Boston Scott, and all those people that just going to find a touchdown somewheres.
Right. And yeah, even when I was looking at their stats, like coming into this game, there was a few guys that like, yeah, we saw them in games against us, but I hadn't seen them like the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
And just looking at some of those stat lines, it's kind of impressive. Still don't like them though.
Well, of
uh,
course, they're awful. All right, I'm just making sure my line is right still. Okay, so Mahomes passing yards, I'm going 280 and a half. And what you got?
looking at him statistically, he either goes well over 280 or he's like kind of ridiculously under it. And looking at the trends of how his games have went, I'm picking that he goes over for this one.
I am saying over as well.
I also think with this game, I think it's going to be a lot of scoring, so there's going to be a lot more passing on the Chiefs side.
Probably so. Which leads us to Hertz, who's now again, these lines I'm getting most of these lines aren't even out there publicly. I had to search degenerate ass websites and weird places to even find some kind of line because it's way too early. You got to do this shit like next week almost.
Uh,
But I tried to find anything I can because we wanted to record early. So I put together the best we could. These are the numbers we're going to go by. They'll move around, but good enough for us to have fun with. Hertz passing yards, his I found at 250 and a half.
I'm going to go under.
Okay. I had under as well. I feel like the Chiefs are going to really try to keep him from running though, and
Yeah,
I feel like he's going to have to pass, but I just don't know that he will be able to.
I think if any defense can give him fits, it's going to be the Chiefs here. Just from what we saw in that game with the Bengals, where Burrow looked like there was times where he was open to even make some throws and just still got made to look silly. So um,
Yeah,
I, I I'm expecting a lot of like disguised coverages and things like that to
there you go. So this guy showed up a lot in the last game in the championship game. So I'm gonna put him in here, and I found his props. So I'm going for Pacheco 50 and a half rushing.
This one is hard for me because his recent performance has been really good, but looking at the whole season like worth of trends, I'm gonna go with under.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going over because it seems like he just showed up, and I feel like they're gonna need him to show up. So I'm hoping he's gonna run quite a bit. 50's a lot.
Yeah.
50's a lot, but I'm gonna see if he really brings it, man. I'm going with him. I'm going over.
Yep. So it looks like the next one we're doing was Kelsey.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got receiving yards 75 and a half.
I'm taking over. I think he does the typical, or Mahomes does his typical Madden-esque strategy of just throwing a lot to one guy, trying to capitalize as much as he can, and then spreading it out. So I expect Kelsey to make an impact early, and
Yeah,
that should get him over 75.
yeah, I'm definitely taking him on over. And again, that kind of led to the fact that there was a couple of dudes I was trying to find props on and realized that there are none because they got hurt in the championship game. So they're
Yeah.
down quite a few weapons, and looks like they're gonna have to lean on him. But knowing that, the Eagles could probably shut him down.
Yeah.
But they're going to be focusing. You got to double him and all that kind of crazy. This is going to open up someone else. I just don't know who. But that's even then. I think 75 ain't no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Hertz rushing. That's a fun one. Hertz rushing yards at 45 and a half.
I took the over. I
Okay.
think they're going to be good at covering the pass. They're going to try to contain him with running, but he's talented enough that he'll get his yards.
I'm taking under. I hope it's under. Good God. If he runs 45 yards, that's insane. The only way I could see it is if he just breaks and no one can catch him, like half, he's at the 50 or something and slips a tackle and just guns it. And then he
Yeah.
break it out in one play or something crazy. Other than that, he might run it in for a touchdown, a couple of yards, maybe scramble here and there. Again, I'm expecting them to try to contain that, make him throw. So I'm trying to go under, and I think 45 is a lot. Man, if a quarterback runs 45
It
yards, y'all got to do something with yourself. That's terrible.
yeah. We've seen crazier things happen though.
Oh, it's gonna. I'm just
Oh
saying. I'm putting under because damn it, you better not.
yeah. Yo.
I'm old. All right. I'm complaining. AJ Brown. AJ Brown's receiving yards 72 and a half.
So this is where it got interesting. I picked Hurts for under on the passing, but for a lot of these guys, I'm still picking over on their yardage because I think it's going to be one of these games where there's going to be a few guys that make the plays that are going to be carrying it. Um, so yeah, I picked the over for him there.
Good. I went under. And I don't really have a good reason for that. I don't know why. It's one of those things like,
Right.
under. I don't know. I think maybe him being a big name, they might cover him again. It's the other. He's kind of like the Kelsey on that side. Maybe to kind of stick him. It might be one of those games where some weird dude you don't see much of comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, they have so many weapons. I think it's hard for anybody to get over on that side. He's going to spread it out a lot of different ways. But it's a tough one. We'll see. Also, Gainwell's rushing yards at 25 and a half.
I went with under, but that was more just based off of like I haven't really seen him in many games, and I don't know if he gets that many opportunities
I didn't
for
really
this game.
notice him either, to be honest. But he seemed to have good stats here and there. I don't know where he got him past me, but he must have. So I just
Right.
went over. Oh my god, maybe he shows up this game or something.
Yeah.
It's a weird name I hadn't really even noticed, but I didn't like you said. When did we watch the fucking Eagles?
Right. Uh,
Unless we're forced to. So
very true.
now we're
Uh,
going to Sanders rushing yards 54 and a half.
yep. I went with the over. I expect the Eagles to rely on their rushing here, to make up for any passing deficiencies. So, I could see them running quite a bit, and that's a lot of yards, but still, it's something I could see Sanders pulling off.
Yeah, yeah, I went over as well with him. All right. Devonta Smith receiving 63 and a half.
I changed my mind here. I'm
Oh,
going with under.
okay.
Um, yeah, because I was just thinking about it and doing the math. I don't feel like everyone that I've picked to be over could do it now that I looked at it. Like someone's gonna kind of get a little less yards, but I'm sure if that team wins the Super Bowl, that player doesn't really mind his personal stats for one game.
And then, there you go. Awesome. I went the other way where I went under on a lot of other guys, but I figure he's one of those dudes that even if they do double him or really stick to him, he'll get it anyway. That dude's
Yeah.
awesome. I like Smith a lot, man. I think he's the type of guy that's going to get it, whether they stick him or not. And 63 ain't that bad for a receiver.
He can do it. He can do it.
Yeah, so I'm going over on him. There's a fun one I made up because at one point or another I was running out of stuff to put on here and I was trying to get to 20.
Yep. Hey, it
so
worked.
so I came up with I was trying to do individual interceptions and it was kind of weird to do. So what I did was combined interceptions between Mahomes and Hurts. And I set it at 2.5, which is basically under is like one each, or
Yep.
over would have to be three, more than one each. So that's what I'm gonna do. So
This
over under 2.5 for interceptions on either side.
See, this one was tough for me because both those defenses are actually like really good, and I'm not just saying that. Like looking at their statistics, they are top of the league for a reason. Um, I went with the under though. I think that these offenses are going to be mindful of the fact that, both of these defenses could just take over a game if not careful. So it's going to lead to, I think, some play calling that isn't as risky. Now, if it's late in the game and Mahomes is down, that I think that goes out the window, and you're just going to see him try to pull off what he's been doing. But I don't think you can tempt fate that often.
I went under as well, and I think it's mostly because they tend to like both of these teams tend to fumble more than they throw interceptions. They don't really
Yeah.
intercept that much, and even if they do, one each is kind of a lot. I don't know. I could give up one each and still be okay. I think it'd be fine. I don't really expect two from either one of them,
No.
plus or anything. So I'm going under as well. That might have been a freebie, but it was an interesting one. I think it'd be fun to watch.
Oh yeah. This next one's fun though to think
There you
about.
go. What you got?
First to get a flag, I'm gonna say the Chiefs on this one because
Okay.
I'm believing the Eagles will have an opening drive and defensive penalties tend to happen more than offensive. I think at a Super Bowl, you're not really gonna have like yeah, you have the volume of like the crowd, but I don't think you're gonna have it to such a level that you get like a false start or any like procedural
Nah.
penalties there.
Right, right,
But
right. Yeah, it's not like a home crowd or nothing.
yeah, um, that sets up the next one. That's
Well,
probably the
I
most
I had took Eagles
goofiest.
on I took Eagles on that one because I feel like they're a little more aggressive. So we'll see. I took Eagles, so I went the opposite way there. That's good.
Yeah, that works. Um, Halftime for Rihanna. Is
Now
it
we're getting to
over or
halftime.
under 9.5 songs?
That's right.
This is actually gonna make me watch halftime for once. So
Oh,
this
I'm
will
so
be
sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. You can just check the number after. You don't have to watch Rihanna.
that is true. I might keep it on mute and just see what the closed captioning comes up with for fun. It's
That
always an
might be a good
adventure.
idea. It might be a good idea.
Um, I I actually had to look up her average song length, and I'm gonna go with the under.
Okay.
Um, I just don't see someone trying to put in 10 songs.
I went over. And the most well, first of all, they don't usually play whole songs. They usually play little
Oh, okay.
snippets of stuff,
Mm,
and they play segments. And on top of that,
that could
I
be.
think I thought I saw somewhere where she might have a guest or something drop in, and then she might do one or two of their songs with her.
That would
So
do it.
we'll see about that. I'm gonna pause this right quick because the dog sat on my remote and turned the TV volume up. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna pause this.
Welcome back, everyone. We just had a brief little interruption there, but don't mind that, and we'll carry along.
Yeah, dogs happen. So all right, so Rihanna, we have settled. You're going under. I'm going over 9.5 songs. So either 9 or 10, 9 or less, or 10 or above. I think she's gonna go over. I think she's gonna go
Oh,
over. All right. Total score of the game 49 and a half. Okay, so here's where the thing where I saw the line was bouncing around, was always 50. I put
yep.
half, so we get a result one way. Because if it ends up being just 50, then neither one of us get a point. I want results. So
Me
I
too.
put 49 and a half. So you can either get one way or the other. 150 is gonna be above at this point.
I'm going with the under,
Oh,
which I just kind of I think that both teams are gonna have like long drives on offense, but
yeah.
those defenses they're gonna fight really hard to not give up points. So um I think we're going to have it where there's a lot of yardage put up from offenses, but the points probably aren't going to be there, in my opinion. But that's the whole fun of this. We're going to get to see, right? So,
Yeah, it's a lot of points in a way, but man, these modern NFL games go over so easy.
oh,
I
yeah.
feel like this could definitely be an under, but I decided to just put over. So
Yeah.
that's good. We disagree, which is great. All right. Well, let's skip ahead a little bit to
Yeah.
before we get to MVP because I wrote this out of order a little bit on my end. Let's
Oh,
go
yeah.
to the game winner first of all. Will it be the Eagles or the Chiefs? Here's your official Super Bowl pick. We'll go there.
All right.
Eagles, man. What you got?
I picked the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'm going with my heart because I just really don't want to see another Eagles Super Bowl. And yeah, I think Mahomes gets it done.
I have the Chiefs as well. It to me it feels like almost like the Eagles should win because they just have so many ways to score.
Hmm.
I don't know how banged up Mahomes himself is, and I think that's why the line we'll talk about is where it is for now.
Mhm.
I personally would have had the Chiefs favored, but everybody has on the Eagles right now. You see Mahomes limping around at the end of games, but I feel like the Eagles should win. But I don't know. And they love Mahomes, bro.
Yep.
I'm going
I
back to my Bills conspiracy. If they're not gonna let the Bills get into Super Bowl, they ain't gonna fucking put Mahomes in there just to have him lose to
right.
the stupid Eagles.
Right. The thing for me too is I've seen with the Eagles, I've seen them have a few games where they weren't that great. For me, from the Chiefs stuff I've watched, haven't really seen like a game where they weren't on. Um, I've seen them get outplayed once or twice, but it's a rarity, and they tend to just always bring a consistent product on field that I think that Philly, kind of buys a little too much in their own hype for this one and doesn't get it done, but we'll have to see, right?
Yep. Uh, yeah, it's that. The game spread itself right now. Okay, so I changed this because I looked earlier.
Yep.
Remember if I told you that I was setting it at 2.5 because I thought
Hmm.
that's what would happen. It was at 2, and again, I want a result. If it ends up by 2 points, neither of us get anywhere, so I want a result.
Right.
I pushed it to 2.5 because that's where I saw money flying in. But I checked today and it went the other way on me, so it's actually at -1.5. So that's what I'll go with.
Okay.
So the line right now is Eagles -1.5. It'll probably move before the game again, but we're gonna leave it at that for us. That's what we're picking it. Eagles favored -1.5. So they got to at least win by 2 for you to pick the Eagles. For those of you who don't understand spreads, and I understand that not everybody does that shit.
Yeah.
The Eagles would have to either keep it within 1 or win, or the Chiefs have to win by 2 or more.
Um, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to get that by two or
Right.
more.
Obviously, if you're picking the Chiefs, it's an upset. So if they win
Yeah.
at all, you're good.
Yep.
You take the points automatically.
Yeah.
There we go. Will the MVP be a quarterback?
I said yes.
I said yes as well because again, I'm picking the Chiefs, and there ain't no way it's going to anybody but Mahomes. Even if he's he has to lean on Kelsey to get it done, and they're gonna if he's limping around there, they're gonna be like, man, look at him out there fighting through it and yada yada. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be the friggin' Mahomes show.
Even historically, looking at NF like Super Bowl MVP selections, even if the QB doesn't have the greatest game, they tend to get the pick most of the
Yeah,
time there for that.
it takes a lot for it not to be the quarterback.
Oh
Um, on the Eagles side, if it is the Eagles, I don't see who else would it be but Hurts.
yeah, that would be a storybook for them. But well, again,
I,
that's
I
the
don't I
beauty of
don't
the game we
see
get to see. So
Yeah, I don't see anybody on that side getting the MVP but Hurts. So there's your quarterback. And if it's on the other side, if it's anybody but Mahomes, it may be Kelsey, but that ain't happening.
yeah, it would take a monumental effort from someone that wasn't expected, I think, for them to
Yes.
get it. But yeah, we'll have to see there.
So that's a
Uh,
freebie.
yeah. I think we do you want to go with who the MVP thanks next or
We can. So there we got the 2 bonus questions. These are not directly yes or no questions. So I figured if you pin this right out of 5 or 6 different possibilities, then you get 5 points for getting it right.
yeah.
So this is a bonus question for 5 points. And this has always been a fun one I've found in the Degenerate Gambling podcast mentioned this one.
Yep.
Who does the MVP thank first in his little speech or in any time in an interview? The first time he thanks someone, who does he thank first? Will it be God, family, fans, the team/coach, or none? Does he just last year's MVP with Mahomes, not last year's, but last time
Yep.
MVP Mahomes got an MVP for the Super Bowl. He really didn't necessarily write out say, "Oh, I want to thank so and so."
It was a really weird speech because I actually watched that before we
I
queued
did
up for the
too.
podcast here. And there's one part where I think he says that he thanks the leaders on the team, but it also sounds
Correct.
like he thinks the leaders. So I was like,
Correct.
does he say it there?
I
But
I,
then
I
he's
thought
like,
so too.
and then he thank you, Kansas City. And I'm like, does he mean the team or the city? I
The
was like,
fans. I would
right,
lump that one under fans if it
right.
happened that way. It's a tough
So
one.
I'm gonna
Tough.
assume that he meant to say I thank the leaders on this team. So I'm gonna go with team and slash coach.
That's a good one.
But yeah,
Well,
that could.
I
That's the
snuck
beauty of it.
around, and I also. This is how pathetic it is. This is why this stuff is so fun. You find yourself doing goofy shit to get these right. I
Right.
watched like the ESPYS where he got the MVP of the NFL award. Because like I didn't get nothing out of that speech. I'm gonna find another one. The first thing he did on that one was he thanked God. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
because
ha, I'm taking the God thing.
I think that Super Bowl, his interview, he kind of got led with the questions more than he was like allowed to talk, and that kind of
Yeah,
that was weird to me. I
it
mean, that
was
doesn't
really weird.
normally
Like Terry
happen.
Bradshaw's in his face. I'm like, dude.
Which I mean, you're not gonna correct Terry Bradshaw there. I mean, like I'd probably just let him ask these questions too, but like you could see even Mahomes there was like kind of thrown off. Was like, what?
Yeah, this is so bizarre.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going with God for the very few times in my life that I will. I'm
Hey.
going with God on this one. And again, if this goes the other way, I think Hurts would probably be the type of guy to say that. Probably he also could go with family because his dad's a coach. He might mention that they're gonna be
Yeah.
leaning on that. So family's a good one if you think the Eagles will win. You might want to go with he'll thank family first. I want to thank my dad and family and stuff like that.
Also,
Fans is a good one, but
I could see if Philly wins, him just saying, "I want to thank everyone that doubted us." Just like something just ridiculous
oh
too,
yeah,
because the
see there you
little
go.
right. So
Well, we'll put if for anybody who wants to play along, we'll put none/other. How about
yes.
that? We'll put the none/other.
I don't think we've ever seen anyone be like, "I want to thank myself," though. But
Well, it usually doesn't happen that way, but you never know. Uh, those are the ones that generally come up. Is either I thank God, thank my family. The fans come up, thank
yeah.
everybody, or I want to thank my the coach and the team and everybody around me type stuff. So that's usually how it goes. And the last fun, goofy one we always do, as crazy as it gets, the Gatorade bath at the end of the game. What color will the Gatorade be?
If there will be any Gatorade, that's
Will
the
there
best
be
part.
any? So another 5 point bonus question. What color's the Gatorade? The choices I've seen bounced around and most common: orange, blue, clear or water, yellow or green, purple, red, or none.
I think the trend continues after doing again way too much research for this. The past 2 years have been blue. I think
Yep.
they're just gonna stick with blue.
Okay.
Um, I don't really know if it's so much a team choice so much as it is a Gatorade's marketing thing. I don't know,
Probably looks
right?
good on
So,
camera.
right. I think the blue, I think they pick a color that doesn't like something that can easily be seen, like
Yep.
distinguishable. Like so blue would be the one. Because I was thinking team color at first, and for some years it has been, but
Mm-hmm.
not like for the majority.
Yeah,
It's
it's not as much as you think.
and it kind of amused me to just see how long that stat had actually been tracked for. That made me
It's
laugh more than anything.
it's the funnest prop every year. It's one I always look for. I'm like, oh, what color is it going to be?
Yeah.
I went with yellow/green. I feel
Ooh.
like they use a lot of the lemon lime one often, and I think the Eagles would go with that. I could even see the Chiefs maybe doing that one. So
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's what I'm going with. I think I'm definitely wrong on that, but I'm going yellow or green. Green's not really a thing. You're going to end up with lemon lime probably.
Right.
Also, one
No,
of my
I could.
favorites, by the way.
Hey, it's good stuff too.
Love lemon lime Gatorade.
Oh yeah, I lived off the blue for several
Oh yeah.
years, more than I probably ever should
Speaking
as
of
a
speaking of
human, but
green, if you go to Powerade, green, they have the melon one. Oh,
yeah,
that one's so amazing.
right. Shout out to Powerade for just changing it up. No.
Hard hitting journalism over here.
Oh
There
yes,
you go.
yes. Um. So yeah, that looks like it's our prop challenge here for this year. So
There
anyone
you go.
following along, if you took notes, let us know how you do as well, and
Yes,
we'll see
sir.
how things go in the end. Um. That said, there's a couple things I did want to, talk about here before we wrap on up and,
Absolutely do
let
that.
everyone go to their day. But we're just gonna talk about the Pro Bowl here. You and I kind of talked about it before we started recording here that you felt like it's kind of not been the same since they started putting it before the Super Bowl. I think this year, if anything, is gonna drive the death of the Pro Bowl.
Oh, you
That's
ain't
my
lying.
controversial take here.
You ain't
Um,
lying.
I think they've wanted to. I feel like the NFL has just had this problem of they've always had this game and they've always just put it on, but you can tell they don't really want to do it anymore. So it seems like this is their
Yeah.
way of doing a let's do something that, probably won't get the most attention. We can go, oh, look, people don't like it, write it off, get rid of it once and for all. Um, the
And
reason I say that is just it feels like it was more of a participation event more than any other year. Um, I saw that Tyler Huntley got named as a QB to the Pro Bowl, and I had
yep.
to go look up who the hell he even was. So,
I do
uh,
remember
uh,
him in the with the Ravens in the playoffs there actually.
yeah, I think he was the one that tried to like do the Superman dive over the goal
Yep.
line and just
He got
completely ate
knocked
it.
out. Which worked for
Um,
Trevor Lawrence, but not so much for him.
right. So I did see that that's not something they do in the Pro Bowl, so he might actually do okay there. They have a longest golf drive competition, so
oh,
just
oh
showing
man.
off the football talent
It
in any
hurts.
way possible. Yes.
See, I remember when I was little, I used to love watching the skills competitions they would do on the Saturdays. Me and my dad used to watch that where they try to throw the
Yeah.
ball and
The
crazy stuff.
QB
I
challenge.
love
I
those.
think
Yes.
receivers would actually have like the thing where they have to catch a bunch of passes and
Yeah.
stuff,
I
and
used to
like
watch Jerry Rice do those. It was amazing.
and I think they had like linemen do like the pushing the one machines and stuff too. Like it was
Yep.
actually a lot of
I
fun to
used to
watch.
love that when I was little, man. The Pro Bowl used to be fun. And then right now, the jokes write themselves so hard. Like they're literally
Oh
doing a
yeah.
flag football game.
And
Oh
I
my
think it's like
God.
half field too or something. Like it was
Oh,
it's like let's
they're actually doing a fucking flag football game.
right.
Oh my God.
Like I
This
thought they
is
would at least have
crazy.
the decency to like, maybe just go mid ground and go like arena football rules because then you would at
That'd
least
be
still
fun.
have something, right?
That'd be
But
fun.
flag football, I'm like, what are
Oh,
we even here for? It's just like a
oh man.
like I said,
Oh,
participation event. I mean,
I
it's
should
a
I should change this to RIP Pro Bowl.
oh yeah, we might actually have to go with that too.
Oh,
Oh boy.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean that's certainly a thing. Someone else also brought up a conspiracy about this whole year that it's just a big marketing play for State Farm because Mahomes is gonna go to Arizona where the State Farm Arena is, and he reps State Farm, and I'm like,
Nice.
that's interesting. I mean,
Nice.
this story this year has just been fun of like really odd coincidences, and that one is just another one to add to the list.
I can tell you now, there ain't much else in Arizona.
Oh no, no, no.
This is
They
the
don't have a hockey
weirdest
team either.
location. Yeah, this is the
Oh.
ouch. Yeah, this is the weirdest location. I don't understand this. The whole
Are
thing's
they like
bizarre.
a tax shelter state or something? Like, is there some reason that people just exist, or is it like the retirement community of like America?
Who the hell would go there and retire? It's gonna be a zillion degrees.
Right? The people will be like, it's a dry heat. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You all haven't had to deal with heat, clearly.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. It's gonna be a weird game. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time I literally have zero interest in rooting interest in either one, to be honest. Usually when this Super Bowl comes up, it's like, I don't like those guys. I at least want to see them get beat. Or, like
Right.
if the Vikings would have got here, like, oh, I'd love to see Cousins win one or something. I
Yeah.
got nothing either way on these. I just kind of, man, on both so hard. I got nothing. That's why I did the prop challenge, just to have something to care about. And I would have
Right.
done this anyway because it's fun. I wanted to see what me and you would do, but
Right.
my God, I don't
For me,
care.
yeah. For
I can
me, it's
just
tough
watch a game
too.
and not give a shit either way. It'd be fun.
Right. I mean, for me, I cheered the Chiefs a couple of years ago, but that's because they had a Canadian on the roster for like I think it was the offensive lineman, one of the guys. So I was like, hey, I'll just cheer for the Canadian, but I don't even think I have that to go off of this year. So it's I'm watching it for this, honestly. So this will be the most fun
Pretty
part.
much.
And I just
As
like
as I'm watching, one of them's going to start to annoy me, and I'll end up rooting for one or the other based on that. Like once Hurts starts, like when the second Hurts lines up as a running back, I'll be on the Chiefs for sure by then.
Yo.
I'm like, that's it.
Um,
I'm here for the Chiefs.
I'm curious to see if we get to see any special plays that get run because there's been a few years where teams like will be in a spot where um I think we've seen like that one year with the Philly special. Hate the play was fun to watch, but
Man.
like we gotta see if what tricks anyone pulls out there. I know the Chiefs have that little merry-go-round play that they like to do where they'll have Mahomes line up as a running back, but like
You know what
well
I haven't seen in a while? Another thing I used to hate in football, absolutely hate and despise the end around. Thank God the end around is dead. That's the dumbest play I've ever seen.
I think it just used to happen because
And
everyone
I
would go like 8 men in the box, right?
and
And
I mean
then
the true end around where the guy goes all the way around,
oh
gets the ball,
yeah,
and goes all the way back around. Because somebody called an end around and something else, and it wasn't that. I'm like, no, I'm talking about the
yeah,
old school end around where they go all the way across and all the way back across and then try to go forward. The worst play ever
right.
designed. I have no idea
Or
why
you
anyone ever did it, but it's dead now.
right.
Thank you.
Or you would see teams that would try to do it and they'd fake the end around and pitch to the running back, and I'm like, what are
Yeah,
you
just get
doing?
crushed every time. And I
It's
would be
like
so
such a
thankful.
it's like one of those plays that like you think will do great, but will
It's
never
no,
actually, right?
you
Like
can't run 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage twice and think anything good's gonna
right. I
happen.
mean, it's like when people do screens when they're like at someone else's goal line. I'm like, what? No, just throw it past the line. Like,
Throw it forward. I saw a lot of that. It's like third and long, and they're throwing that. I'm like, what are you doing?
like
Can
I
you throw
right?
forward?
Like
Burrow
I
did
get you
that.
have a check down route, but like,
Yeah.
why is he running that route?
Burrow
Like,
did that on like a third and 9. I'm like, no, dude,
yeah.
you got to get downfield now. You're
Oh,
behind. Let's go. Anyway, I'm there. You go. I'm complaining again.
it's all good. I mean, got to keep people interested in their podcast somehow, right?
Me yelling will do it. All right. Well, we're gonna shut it down here. I never do this, and I'm so sorry. But man, plug your channel or something. Give us where we can check you out doing all the stuff you're doing now. Because me and you
Oh
are gonna
yeah.
be doing totally different stuff from football now. So we'll be doing
Oh
other
yeah.
things. So what are you doing and where?
So I'm currently expanding efforts for the Pyledriver Media Group program in terms of doing content on YouTube, social media. We've launched a Discord channel as well. So what I'll do here is in the description for the upload, I will put links to that for everyone that's interested, so they can go check that out. I'm almost going to plug your stuff too, because you have an awesome podcast talking about punk music that I have gotten into. And I'm not just saying this because we're talking.
Oh, good.
It's something I honestly really enjoy. And it's got me into listening to a lot more music again and just opening my mind to stuff I wouldn't even normally consider. But
We listen to a lot
I
of weird stuff over there.
oh yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we have Two Punk to be a podcast for anybody who wants to check that out. Don't be fooled by the name. We talk about everything but punk half the time. And it's
oh,
like 600 records behind me, and there's a bunch of weird stuff in there, and we talk about it all. So check us out over there. I'm gonna drop links in the comments also, so it's easy to find on
yeah.
my end, on my channel. I'll put it in the comments if you want to click on that and check out what Alex is doing over there. Obviously, my shits will be going to be there, but yeah, I wanted to put that out there. I've done such a poor job of promoting what you do. I want to put you out there.
I also have to promote things too. So another thing I'll be doing just for a little bit of housekeeping for our page is I'm going to be taking all of the graphic posting and stuff we did from weeks 1 to 17, including the podcast. And on the Pyledriver website, I will have a section for our HTTRC stuff. So if anyone wants to go back and check how things went through the season, you can kind of have that journey and follow along with what we went through and endured as fans and presenters here. So that'll be fun too. Um, I am looking to launch a podcast myself. It's going to be called Pile of Baloney.
Oh,
Because I'll just talk about a little bit of anything. I'm going to look forward to having some people on. I'll
fair
definitely
enough.
have you on for a show too.
I'll be there.
Do some crossovers there,
I'll
and
be there.
oh yeah, it's going to be fun. This podcast and this whole experience has been a blessing for me in that it's gotten me to address my fear of like speaking to the public. to the point where this is just chill and fun for me. Where in the beginning I was like, what do I do? And you remember it too, where I was like overthinking a lot of things. And now it's just something that we do and enjoy, and the people that listen do. I appreciate every one of you, and yeah, I just look forward to the future, and we'll be back around draft time for sure to do more of this.
Indeed, man, you do a great job. You're very natural at it, more than me. I'm actually quite antisocial. It's weird that I even do this. I have something's wrong with me. All right.
Hey, the balance works for us, and it's a good team we got here. So
Indeed, it is. Well, thank you, man, as always, for your time. I'm gonna try to get this uploaded before the end of the night and send it to you and all that good stuff. So
sounds
we will see
golden
y'all
there.
next time. Have a good Super Bowl, everyone, and we will see you after the draft.
Take it easy and stay breezy. That's what I say. All right.